مشاهدينا أهلا بكم في حوار فتيات. أنا ميسون عزام أحييكم، وفريق العمل رناد بطاينة وهشام إسماعيل نحييكم من الولايات المتحدة في بوسطن تحديدا. العربية هنا في بوسطن للعام الثالث على التوالي تواكب معكم تجربة أكثر من 75 فتاة جئنا من مختلف الدول في العالم، دول عربية إسلامية وأيضا دول غربية، تحت مظلة Empower Peace Program، وهي الراعي الرسمي ل Women2Women، المرأة للمرأة ما بين الشرق والغرب، والتي تعنى ببناء جسور التواصل ما بين الثقافات المختلفة لدول مختلفة، ربما تكون صديقة، ربما تكون حليفة، وفي بعض الأحيان تكون عدوة. على كل الحوار سيدار باللغة الإنجليزية لأنها اللغة الرسمية هنا والمطلوبة هنا أيضا من قبل الجهة المنظمة، فاعذرونا مشاهدينا، وسأنتقل الآن للحديث باللغة الإنجليزية. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our program العربية audience. It's indeed we are proud to be part of this ambitious and unique program. Women2Women is not simply about meeting new people or going to New York, but it's more about connecting and understanding each other, respecting one another while focusing on the individual rather than the culture, and above all, empowering us women in the process of peacemaking. Young ladies, we are here today to claim our seat at the table, as the title of this year's program implies. Do you think this is achievable?
Yes. Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Can we do it?
Yes.
Of course. Allow me to welcome you. First, you are here for that purpose, and allow me to welcome our panelists. Of course, we start with Kelly Healy, former governor of Massachusetts. Welcome. I'd like to welcome Nasser Widadi, Director of Civil Rights in the American Islamic Congress. I'd like to welcome also Elizabeth Cafferty, Senior Advocacy Officer in the Women's Refugee Commission. And finally, Linda Lockhart, the founder of the Global Give Back Circle. Welcome. And last but not least, allow me to welcome and thank Rick Rendon, the founder of Empower Peace and also the organizer of this project, for making all this possible. Welcome, Rick, and thank you very much.
Mysoon, thank you, and I want to thank Al Arabiya for doing this program, because it's our hope that a lot of the young women out in the network, in the reach of the network, will be watching the show and be inspired, encouraged to do all that they can do and be all that they can be.
Thank you very much, and he deserves, I think, a big round of applause. Thank you, Rick. Rick, I'm really curious to know what inspired you to create such a program. Why is it important for you that women be represented in all areas in the society?
Well, yeah, it's pretty interesting. The inspiration for this program, which is a program of a foundation or a nonprofit we started called Empower Peace, actually came from an event that we produced at the Democratic National Convention. The late great governor of Texas, Ann Richards, was speaking, and she was talking to an audience about the role that the different genders play in society. And she said, men go out and they stake the land and they fight for the property. It's the women that really are the great uniters. And I was sitting in the audience and I said to myself, you know, she's absolutely right. That with women just are unifiers, and that if there's a way that we can elevate the status of women around the world, give them the tools and the opportunities.
We are multitaskers, aren't we?
Yes.
These young women at the ages of 15 to 20 have done remarkable things already. I'm excited to see what they're going to do 10 years from now, when one of these young leaders from Cairo picks up a phone and talks to her new friend in Erie, Pennsylvania, and says, hey, let's work together, let's make a difference, let's make the world a little bit better. So they're really remarkable young women.
You'll be watched, girls. Take care, huh? Anyway, thank you very much, Rick. And now let's talk here about you. Why did you want to be part of this program? Who would like to start? Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Srin Hajaisa from Algeria. I'm here in the program Women2Women to discuss women's subjects and to make change in my society, in my world.
Yeah, but I mean, when you came here, did they tell you about your roommate?
No, never. It was like surprise. Yeah, when I found her, I really loved her from the first look. She is Rania, actually.
She's got a lovely hair, I know. But what else?
She is Rania from Kurdistan. She speak actually Kurdish, then English, then Arabic.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So you had lots of things in common. Would you tell us about let's say when you met her, what did you think first? And why did you come here in first place?
Okay. I had no idea who's going to be my roommate. The minute I walked in, she told me that she's 15 years old. So I was like, I'm going to be like a mother for you during this week.
I'm not going to ask you about your age.
I'm 20.
Okay, fair enough. Don't ask me.
Okay. I came to this program because this program has a lot to do with empowering the women so that they can manage all aspects of life. And one important thing is that it connects all the women around the world together. And I was looking forward to meet all of the girls.
Okay, tell us about your roommate.
Besides that, she's 15. She's fun and outgoing.
Did
She's
you
from
find
Algeria.
anything in common other than the language, maybe?
Actually. Both of us speak English
Okay.
and Arabic.
Okay,
Both of us like music and dance.
okay,
So
fair
much.
enough.
We like sport. And
Can we have the mic,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
for her?
actually, there is special on this girl. She wants to move in Africa to help the children there. That's so lovely. Maybe we work together in the future. I'm from Africa.
And our room was very messy, but then
Okay.
I told her that we should take care of it because, like, when other girls walk into the room, they should know how like tidy and clean we are, so that they can learn from us as well. Because like we share a lot of experiences here. It's not only
Tell me about the experience, basically. What did you learn here? What are you going to take with you back home?
I'm gonna take with me all the love that I felt among the girls. The first day I walked into here, I was like looking at everyone, and I was like, I will never make friends except for the ones who came with me from Iraq. But then on the second day, we had the icebreakers, and then I met all the girls, and they're all astonishing and amazing.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please sit down. Carrie, I would like to start with you talking about this relationship and love that we heard about. What is it about? What are we trying to create here?
Well, I think we're trying to create connections across continents, across cultures, and starting very small, starting with just the relationship between roommates. Undoubtedly, they found things not only that they had in common, but maybe that they had different as well, that they're a little shy to talk about here on television in front of millions of
Are you
people.
shy? Do you have any differences? The mic, please.
Yes, we have.
Tell us about it.
I would like to know what surprised you culturally about your roommate. What new thing did you learn about? Had you ever met anyone from Kurdistan before?
Never. I never heard about Kurdistan before.
There you go.
Do you know now about it?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, excellent. But what about the differences? What
There is
struck
a
you most, let's say, from your roommate, about your roommate?
Yeah. Actually, there's something. I hope she okay with it if I say it. We are both of us Muslims, but I'm like just Muslim of Algeria and she's like Muslim of Kurdistan. They can do some stuff, we can't do it.
Like what?
Dress something. She can dress. She can do.
What do you mean by dress?
Dress like shorts. And
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
And
They
we
more,
don't
more
do
open
that.
and okay.
I think that's only the difference between us.
Okay, what about Kurdistan? What did you learn about Kurdistan?
Actually, I know it's in Iraq.
Okay.
I know they speak Kurdish. That's all. She didn't want to tell me the traditional food of them.
So let's take, I'd like to see an example, an experience with two extremes. Do you have it?
Hello, my name is Farah Al-Atrash. I'm from Libya and I'm 19 years old.
Libya, you should be proud, huh?
Yeah, I am.
Big applause. Did you have any previous perception about America before you come here? Okay, you
Well,
didn't visit America, but still.
Never. Oh, I only watch movies and
Okay.
yeah, TV shows, and that's the only thing I know about America.
That's it, no other.
Yeah.
What about you? Did you hear about Libya before? Did you know about Libya?
Yes, I knew about Libya, but she completely opened up everything. The 2 a.m. conversation that we had was about Libyan food, about what was happening there, and just she's so inspirational to talk to. It's outstanding.
Did you hear about the revolution there or not? Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Before you met her.
Very little. I had the American version of it.
Yeah.
And so being
What's the American version?
it's very interesting to be able to talk to the Libyans. All the Libyans here, they're all fantastic to be able to actually just speak to one-on-one. And so it's really outstanding.
And do you find any differences, especially, did you feel that you needed to dissociate yourself from your culture or religion in order to fit in, or?
Everyone tells one another about their own culture, about their own religions, about their own traditions, and we're both okay with it. I mean, I like to learn about her religion, about her culture, and I'm fine with it.
What about you? What struck you most about her?
Oh gosh, so many things, but it's nothing bad. That's what's so great about it. Just talking about her religion and completely enlightened me about it. Islam is such a beautiful religion in itself, but then she just added on to it and showed so many more sides of it. And so it was really...
Tell me about it.
Okay. All right, we had many conversations that stayed up late, and one of them was when we talked about her religion and just showing how in America there are still some preconceptions about Islam and the Muslim
What
faith.
about yours?
No.
Before you met her?
Before I met her, I always considered it to be something beautiful just because of the dedication to it.
Okay.
But
Even by killing myself for it.
that's something different.
Okay, fair enough.
That's definitely something different. But talking to her, it's just, it opens new doors. And through that, you get to see the connections between like the different religions and the different ideas.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, these bonds that are created here, how would they empower our future leaders?
I mean, I think first of all, what you're hearing is how they've gained a really deep knowledge of each other from a cultural perspective, religious, political. I'm sure you talked about your families and your friends. And so this is entirely different from consuming media, whatever form of media it is, whether they have the New York Times in their home, whether they're just, reading Gawker at night. Whatever it is, you're getting a very different perspective. And I think that when you gain knowledge of different issues from these different perspectives, you gain confidence in what you think you might be able to do about something to make a difference. And so I think that's what we'll be hearing tomorrow in their action plans about what they will do when they go home. I think they will go back full of confidence, full of energy.
Do you feel that? Yes. Do you agree? Yes. Okay.
And I think the other thing which they probably shared with each other is that in each of the countries here, which we don't always hear about, there is a vibrant women's rights movement. No matter how things are portrayed in the media, but we know historically that what women do is not often brought to the attention of the media, does not make it into the history books. And so each of you goes back to a context where there are bigger groups of women at work, and hopefully now you will feel that you can take your place alongside of them.
Excellent. Linda, tell me about your experience basically in empowering women in Kenya. As far as I understand, also you have some of the participants here who are part of your program. Can we see the girls? Say hi.
Can you stand
Hello.
up? Mary, stand up. Alice, will you stand? And Wakista. Yes, I'm very proud that 3 of our representatives are here from Kenya. And I met the 3 of these girls 6 years ago when they were in high school, and they were very timid and very shy and not empowered at all.
So
And
they're not shy at all now?
No, 6 years later they're
You
completely
can speak your mind
transformed.
easily? Lots of
Yes.
confidence?
Well, one thing you should know about Mary is Mary goes to school at the university, the American University in Dubai. She's a Clinton scholar, full scholarship, and just this year she was elected president of the student body, first African ever and woman ever. So
She deserves it.
And what you might want to know about Wakista is Wakista grew up right down the road from President Obama's grandmother, Sarah Obama. And 14 months ago, we went to the rural village to visit her, and Wakista fell in love with the young orphans that she's raising and brought 6 of them into our program, and now they have university scholarships in Kenya. So, and Alice is just wonderful too. I mean, Alice is in university now, and 6 years ago, they really didn't know what empowerment was, but now they're fully empowered.
Oh, excellent. Well, basically, now that we clarified why we are here, the next step will be how can we move forward, but after the break. مشاهدينا ابقوا معنا. مشاهدينا أهلا بكم مجددا. لازلتم تتابعون حوار فتيات. Hello ladies and gentlemen. Fear dominated lots of liberals around the globe, including those in Arab countries after what is now known as the trend of Islamization in the Arab Spring countries. So basically, is this fear valid? This is what are we going to discuss now in this part of this discussion. I'd like to hear from you ladies. Maybe an Egyptian will help us in discussing and talking about this fear. Is it valid or not? Do you really fear the idea that now in your country, at least now we'll talk about Egypt, that the government there is ruled by Islamists? Would you like to start?
Hello, my name is Amira. I'm from Egypt. She's my roommate. She's Hannah from Boston. Actually, we don't at all. Most of the Egyptians, they don't fear so, because we are the population that selected him. So I don't think we fear that. There's no any there's nothing happen, there's nothing said that we should fear from the Islamic.
So do you believe them? Do you believe of what they promised and everything? And you're happy to have Morsi as your president now?
Yeah, sure. I'm Muslim and I'm so happy. And even if I'm not Muslim, I'm so happy. I'm so proud that Egyptians have succeeded and they have passed the whole 2 years. It's almost 2 years, 1 year and a half, without any struggles. Electing a new president who's not from the old regime followers at all, which is really, we are proud to have the experience of elections. We didn't have it at all before. It's like a new real experience that we are so proud of it. And I'm sure that all the Egyptians have the power to speak themselves and to express themselves and to raise their voices and to raise awareness. Yeah, if something happen again, we will go. Tahrir Square is available all the time. And we there always.
So, as a woman, you're not frightened?
No, not at all.
Okay, tell me about you, Hannah. Did you hear about the revolution in Egypt before you met?
Yes, I did. I traveled to Spain last year, and when I was in Spain, I heard about it on CNN. It was the only channel that was in English.
You don't hear it here?
Before, I didn't really hear about it. No. But I learned a lot from the girls from Egypt here, and just talking about like everything they witnessed with their own eyes and how it's changed a lot. I mean, Amira is my roommate, so obviously I've learned a lot that I didn't know before, which it's just amazing to know that such young girls have seen revolution with their own eyes. And
one of the most amazing revolution in the whole
very true, yes.
among the countries, yes. But did you know anything about Islam before you met her?
I learned what they taught in school.
What?
They taught about, the simple things. They didn't really go into details. They told us about the prayers.
You're a Muslim?
No, I'm Christian.
Okay.
But they in school they told us the very basic stuff. Okay. My teacher wasn't Muslim, so she told us what she learned from a book. And coming here, one night I stayed up late, and I watched some of the Muslim girls pray, and it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. They're so dedicated, and their religion is very beautiful, and I respect it so much because every single day, it's not something that's like a burden. It's something they take in with love.
And they believe in.
They do, and it's beautiful to watch.
Thank you very much. What about? Yes.
Hello, I'm Yasmin from Egypt, and this is my roommate Asma from Libya.
Okay.
I just want to say that we're really proud of the elections. It's a totally new experience, and I came here representing my country to tell the world and to tell people from all around the world that some things are not what they seem, and we're not. Islam's not taking over. We have Christians who actually support the new president, and I have a lot of Christian friends, and there's no we're not divided or anything. That is totally false, and
Exaggerated by the media, you mean, or what? Or you don't feel it yourself?
No, I don't feel it, and I don't think any Egyptian feels it, but it is kind of exaggerated by the media a lot, and we just don't feel it in Egypt. And with my talking with everyone, people from U.S. and Europe, Spain, and from all over the world, we kind of clarified that and made a better image and the real image, not as like any other version of the truth.
What about you?
I'm
In
from
Libya, the election in Libya was completely different,
Yeah,
the results, than other countries.
The Islamists weren't so lucky in Libya. I think they got less than 20% of the seats, and that I was really, really shocked because they owned everything there. Like, I'm from Tripoli, and just walking the streets of Tripoli, all you can see, all the billboards, they were all taken by the Islamists. So everyone thought that they would have at least 50% of the seats, but they had, I think they have like 20 or less than that. So I'm really proud because we are such a religious population, and I think that to some extent some Islamists are taking this kind of thing in our Arab countries, and they're just using it just as a political tool. But I think I'm so proud of Libyans because they kind of like they just shocked the world. I think they just shocked me because they just chose someone that has nothing to do with that, someone who's very liberal. And I think that we've showed to the world that religion is just something we practice at home, but then politics is something different, something serious, and we are serious about that. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you very much. You should be proud, exactly, and Egypt also. I know you want to talk, but let me ask Nasser a question. Nasser, do you think that men, when they went to call for their freedom and rights, they envisioned democracy with women in it, in Egypt at least?
I think that, in my experience, is that the core group of activists who were sort of the catalyzers for the uprising had absolutely that conception that they thought of freedoms as including women, for the simple fact because women were next to them and were doing as much as they did, if not more. So is the case, by the way, in Tunisia, which was really the trigger where all of this started. The fundamental problem remains is that I'm glad to see the optimism across the Arab world in terms of getting...
Are you optimistic?
I am over the long term.
As the young ladies here.
Over the long term, I am optimistic for the following reason, because what is happening in the Arab world today, over the long run, is a triumph for the idea of liberty. However, things are not, as the young lady said, things are not exactly as they seemed. It's a fact that political Islam has made major gains across the region, and it's very important, and it's also very interesting for me and enlightening to hear one of the participants mention the idea, and I will try to further articulate it, which is the problem there remains as fundamental, because within, at least as political Islamists conceptualize it, it's the definition very much of the role of men and women in society. I happen to believe that the role of men and women in society when it comes to equality, it's not an issue of complementarity, which is the narrative that says that women and men complement each other, and therefore they have assigned genetic roles by birth. I reject that personally. And I think that going back to the idea of the universality of rights is that men and women are inherently equal by the freedom that is God gave them at birth. And that's the idea, that's the big battle of ideas that are going on in the Middle East. In terms of the Islamists, I think that there are what happened in Libya and also some of the intricacies of what happened in Egypt and in Morocco and in Tunisia. They are learning to manage their own expectations and realize that ultimately it is a pretty failed proposal to pretend to bring Islam to people who've been Muslims for 14 centuries. We will see through it, and that's exactly what happened to in Libya, and that process will continue because ultimately what needs to happen and is sought is that there need to be accountable governments that respect the individual rights of their citizens. And the lesson we've learned through the last 2 years is a fundamental shift, which is for the first time, since the formation of the so-called modern Middle East, rulers have been put on notice. If you do not behave, you'll get the boot.
And we have future leaders who are not going to allow them to do whatever they want unless they approve it. Lady.
My name is Kara and I'm from Pennsylvania, and this is Habiba and she's from Egypt. And I followed the Egyptian revolution and then further elections somewhat closely, and I personally feel that the Muslim Brotherhood was the only group most organized in order to win the election and properly handle the country after the revolution. And the fact that the president immediately spoke afterward and said in his parliament he would like women and he would like Christians, it really meant a lot to me. And I grew up in a somewhat fundamentalist Christian society, and I was told that Muslims are very bad people from as long as I could remember.
When, since Osama bin Laden or before?
Before.
Okay.
Much before.
Why? Personal experience, or is it the image, TV, or what? Media?
Family, primarily. Okay. And I never believed that, and I wanted to affirm that belief, and especially through coming here, that definitely has affirmed that belief. And
could you please expand on the point? Yes. Why did you view Islam like this before?
Why did I view it as what?
As, like you said, you didn't like Islam. You heard a lot.
It wasn't me personally. It was what I was told.
Yeah. What did they tell you?
Just that only Christians are correct and only Christians can handle a civilized nation. And later on, that's why things like Arab Springs occur, because Muslims cannot handle themselves. That was what I was told.
Okay, and now? What do you think?
I never believed that to begin with, and in order to affirm that, I exposed myself, and I gathered some pen pals that were Muslim to speak with them, just to talk, and read some books on it, and coming here, speaking with it on a very practical level. And I was also informed incorrectly that Muslim women are extremely oppressed, and through talking through Habiba, I don't get that vibe at all, and she absolutely loves her religion, and I think that it is wonderful, and I really feel like that religion alongside their politics, it can go on successfully.
And you'll go back to your family and tell them that?
Yes, hopefully they'll listen.
Okay, fair enough. What about you?
Actually, Kara's a great person, and I like her a lot. And for a country, I'm really proud that I could be a part of Egypt and of what's happening now, and that the elections went great in a democratic way, and we should give some time for the new president to see what he will give. Yes, to prove himself, and at least it went democratically, and it was great. Yes.
Anybody would like, please?
Hi, my name is Zahra Al-Jani. I'm from Saudi Arabia, and this is my friend Iron from Spain. I just want to say some comment about the Women2Women. I just want to say, if each country think of create like a place or such a small, even like a room of this beautiful things we learn in, it's the world, all of the world is gonna live in peace, really. I have learned a lot in this place. I have learned that every woman can change the world. Every woman can prove herself. And we all here to prove ourselves in our country. We all gonna go back to our homes and prove that what we did learn here, it's what gonna happen there. and we're gonna change, and we're gonna make at least one person or one woman sleep a night in peace and in a safe place.
Allow me to ask you, when you go back, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna do a lot.
What's your future plan, let's say, and let's talk about also the project plan that you have.
My action plan is about the gap between women and society in Saudi Arabia. I really hate that it's a lot of improvement are happening in Saudi Arabia, but I really hate that the poor people in Saudi Arabia, they are little. Most of them are rich, so they are little, and I wanna give them the chance to prove themselves by giving them a little amount of money, so they can offer the basic thing, and they can go out to society and they prove themselves by going to some organizations, taking them help, and telling me about their places there, so I can go and talk to them and what they wanna reach in their life.
Are you going to do it alone?
I have me and my two Saudis friend, and
let's see them.
Okay, we're gonna work with Dahira towards, first of all, educating other people at our level so that they can help us out with this project, so that we can go and speak to the girls, like Dahira was saying, and really find out what they're thinking inside of them and how they feel towards the gap that they have in the society, so that we can try and help them to know how to deal with it, hear their problems, their perspective, what they're feeling, because a lot of girls don't have the opportunity to speak and to actually say what they're thinking, especially with the culture that we have, that it's not so open that they can say, you can hear their voices and understand what they really feel about what's going on.
So you really believe you can make a change in Saudi Arabia?
Definitely.
What about you? Please introduce yourself.
I'm Sosan Qasim. I live in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I mainly came here to discuss gender discrimination, but we're discussing all of these problems under gender discrimination, because I think that if we try to solve gender discrimination, I think all of the problems under it would actually, decrease.
We'll talk about that later on after the break. مشاهدينا فاصل ونواصل، ابقوا معنا. مشاهدينا أهلا بكم مجددا وحوار فتيات نحييكم من بوسطن. Welcome ladies and gentlemen. Basically we're still talking about the role women can play in empowering a global peace. Rick, how long do you think your peaceful army of women can continue using the peaceful tools in front of, let's say, atrocities of governments, like what happened in Libya, what's happening now in Syria?
I'd like to think that this is just the beginning. I mean, with the class of 2012, with these 80 young leaders, we now have an alumni of 650 young women from 41 different countries. I hope that they stay connected. You have an amazing network, that you rely upon one another, that you use each other for support, that you collaborate to make a difference, because it's movements like this that'll make human rights, women's rights, and women's rights human rights. Right, everybody?
Women's rights are human rights. Human rights are women's rights.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Fatna and I'm from Algeria. I want to share something that I have mentioned before. I have participated in another program called YLP Youth Leadership Program in 2009. It was founded in Nevada and California. And so I had an action plan. It was about, let's say, against poverty in Algeria. I had a lot of ideas And like when I came back to Algeria, I was about to achieve the ideas, but when I went to get help, they told me like just go and play with the doll.
Okay.
Yeah, they said like you're still young. You don't like you don't have like the power to do all this. So all these ladies you see here, they have a lot of great ideas, but they have a fear of not to achieve these ideas, to not get help in their countries. So now we are in the Arabiya channel, and I want like from all organizations and associations around the world to help us to achieve our goals and change the world, to change our countries, because we have a lot of ideas.
Lots of ideas, Linda, how they can overcome their fears.
What you're afraid of success, right? That's what you're afraid of. The way you can overcome your fears is visualize what success looks like. And tomorrow, and you all have projects, right? Tomorrow you're going to have to make them very granular, how you're going to achieve them. So you're going to have to say what is doable. But before you do that, when you go to bed tonight, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and visualize what success looks like. If you can visualize it, it will happen. Okay? And that's how you overcome your fears. See yourself in that space. Figure out what you're going to be doing, how many women you'll be empowering. And when you get there tomorrow, write very, very descriptive hows of getting there. And every time you get a little bit closer, give yourself a clap. Okay?
I'm very close. Kerry, would like to hear from you, especially about, let me bring back the main topic about Islamization. Do you think that the Western's attitude toward Islam improved lately or what?
Well, I happen to know it hasn't improved lately, which is a sad thing. But I think that programs like this, people-to-people connections, can make a difference. And one of the things that we're learning in the West very slowly is that Islam is not one thing. It is different things in different countries, and there are different sects of Islam, just as there are many different types of Christianity. And we're familiar with that idea, so it shouldn't be so strange to us. But I think that again and again, as we're looking at the countries that are going through the Arab Spring, we're realizing that there are different types and different approaches to Islam, and that is new information for many people in America. And I know that when people here are meeting one another for the first time, and even amongst the countries that are Islamic countries, they're discovering these differences as well. The thing that strikes me most listening to all of these conversations is why it's important to be doing something called Empower Peace. How does this contribute to peace? And it's because war comes out and conflict comes out of viewing someone else as an other. Being and being able to objectify. There was a young woman here from Georgia who said, her family or her culture had taught her to objectify Muslims and say that there was something wrong or different about them that they should be afraid of. But these girls here are never going to be afraid anymore, or be able to be told lies about people who are Christian or Jewish or Islam, because they will know people who embrace all of those faiths. And so these women here and all the people who they teach and know are going to be more peaceful.
So do you feel that you are ready to face all circumstances, including hostility? Please.
Hi, my name is Marsha, and I'm from the United States, and my roommate's name is Rawaz, and she's from Iraq.
Hi, nice meeting you.
And I think, just to bring up the point of fear earlier, that I think that we were told in the very beginning of this conference on the first day, and I think that this is something that will always stay with me, that there can be no bravery without fear. And I think that it's fear that drives me. And when I came to this conference, I was just coming back from another camp, and I had no time to sleep. I hadn't slept for 2 days. And I turned to my mom and I said, I hope my roommate isn't Muslim or isn't from Islam, because I'm Jewish, and that's a thing that scared me. And when I met Rawaz, it's actually funny because I met her when I was trying to figure out the bathroom. And so it's a locked door, and I was trying to unlock it, and then I dropped my key because she was coming out, and I banged my head on the door, and we were both falling over, and then I met her. And she, and she absolutely changed my life because she's just such a lovely person. And whenever I see her, she does this little thing with her eye that she winks at me like that. Yeah. And just look at her clothes. She's just so beautiful. And I think that after having this experience and meeting her, that I won't be afraid of hostility in anything. And I think that if I can come over that, and if you can come over that, then I think that anyone can, especially if they get an opportunity as amazing as this one.
Hi. Thank you, Marsha. I want to say that every single woman in this place can change the world, and we all have the ability to do something if it's very, very small. I personally, I want to do something in my country when I go back. My action plan is about gender discrimination. I want to do a workshop in my university because we have many women there that are educated, but they have the belief that they can not do everything as boys in my country. So I want to do something to prevent
Thank
this.
you very much. Okay, we'll have another contribution, yes? Yeah.
I'm Emily, and I'm from the United States.
Hi, my name is Reem, and I'm from Morocco.
And I would just like to say that when I first came to the conference and I met all these wonderful people, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I heard about all the issues in everyone else's countries and their stories that they had, and it really got me interested in trying to branch out and not just help people in my own country, but use my country to help people in other countries. So for my action plan, I'm working with a few other girls, and we are going to try to create bonds with people in different countries. Since when I came here, I didn't really know much about a lot of the Middle Eastern or Northern African countries and what their lives are like. Because in America, we don't really learn that in school, and we do have people that immigrate from those countries, but a lot of the times they're very Americanized, so you don't really get to know people who are actually from those places. And so we're just trying to create bonds and trying to compare each other's cultures and find out more about each other so that we're not in the dark and we know more about people from all over the world, which is really important to get to know other people and what their life is like so that we can better ourselves.
A comment, please.
I wanted just to mention that I'm not afraid of success. Before coming here, I was, but after a conference, I felt that I wasn't afraid anymore, because any failure could be an opportunity for me to realize a legendary success. I mean, I'm going to, if I failed, I'm going to learn from my mistakes so as I can improve and realize something legendary. That's all.
Thank you.
May I just comment? What you said is brilliant. You also have to clap yourself and give yourself a pat on the back every time you fail. Because you have to fail to succeed.
Elizabeth, what do you say about that?
I love the energy in this room. I love the enthusiasm. I want to remind you that you need to play the long game, that you have 60 years at least of work ahead of you. I love the idea that you think Hillary Clinton is a role model. When I was in high school and her husband ran for president, people did not think that Hillary Clinton was a role model. You may remember that when she ran for president, she was completely demonized. This is not an easy area to work in. Additionally, in the United States, as Carrie implied before, lots of the barriers to our work are not seen. So you can go out there and you can make a little bit more progress. But a lot of the countries that these girls are going home to, you will go back with enthusiasm, but there will be real barriers. There will be much more stigma attached to your work. There will be people not afraid to contradict you and to mock you in public. These issues are not ones that people are going to say,
great, we're going to get behind you right away. This is not easy work. I say that as someone whose life's work is international women's issues. I'm 36, I've been working on this for a while. I have another 40 years to work on it, hopefully, if not more. I need to pace myself, not get frustrated, and reach out to the other women that I know who also work on these issues. So you need to continue to gather strength, but also don't underestimate that this is an enormous task that you have before you.
Nasser?
As the professional activist and social entrepreneur, my message to you is very much, it's all about your plan. It's quite clear that you made it abundantly clear that you're determined, that you're motivated, that you've got the right stuff to succeed. But your plan is ultimately what's going to decide be the difference between success and failure. But I strongly invite you not to fear failure, because the mark of your genius and your determination is your ability to turn a failed situation into a success. With that said, many of you are going to go to countries that don't even allow NGOs or the right to a public association. Some of you will go to countries that have regulations set in stone, laws. And some of you are going to be hitting the barriers of either perceived or real traditions or religious precepts. This is not easy work. It's a difficult task to undertake. But I think that the real courage is to take on an endeavor without being afraid of failure and knowing that you could fail, but you will stand up, you'll wake up the next day, and you'll stand on your feet where you'll go at it again.
Carrie?
You asked a wonderful question early on. You asked, is the problem common and can the solution be common? And what I've been hearing from so many of these answers is that, yes, I think at the core of the problem in almost every culture, including our own in the US, is the question of respect. And I think is it the lack of respect that's accorded when you're not paid the same, when you're harassed on the street, when you're married too early, when you're failed to be given the opportunity for an education, when you have to suffer abuse in your own household quietly. This all stems from a lack of respect for the equality and the value of women's lives. And so I do actually think that we're addressing one problem here, and it has to do with respect. And the solution is exactly the same. It's engendering that kind of respect in every arena that you operate in. And so to the extent that you have gotten self-respect here in this program, then I think that you will be able to be better able to go back to your own communities and in whatever large or small way is possible for you to try to increase respect for women. And it may be simply as an example of a woman who respects herself and who demands respect and tries to promote respect for other women as well. So I think that respect is at the core of what we're doing here today, and I loved your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Unfortunately, we have come to the end and conclusion of this interesting discussion. Thank you very much for your valuable contribution. Of course, I have full trust that next time, young ladies, when we talk, we'll be talking about how you managed to claim your seat at the table. So give a big round of applause to yourself. Thank you very much. Of course, I would like to thank our distinguished panelist, Carrie Healy, former governor of Massachusetts, and also Nasser Widadi, Director of Civil Rights in the American Islamic Congress, Elizabeth Cafferty, Senior Advocacy Officer in the Women's Refugee Commission, and Linda Lockhart, the founder of the Global Give Back Circle. Thank you very much. And Rick Randon, thank you very much, the founder of Empower Peace. And I would like to thank our audience. I hope you enjoyed this program and this discussion as much as we did. مشاهدينا نلقاكم من دبي. ابقوا معنا.